Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Plays. And today I'm going to be making a tier list for all the armor sets in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But just a quick warning before we start today's video, I am not going to be ranking any of the armor sets that you get from amiibos. So with that said, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, starting off today's tier list with the old set. Now the old set is just, I'm going to be putting in the yikes category. You guys all know why. It's just a overall horrible. It has no defense. It's like a horrible rating. It doesn't give you any sort of buff or attack. Overall, like literally, it's pretty much the most useless set of armor in the entire game. And that probably goes for me and you guys too. Okay guys, next up on the list, we have the Redesign set, and I'm going to put this one in amazing. Like, who doesn't use this armor set? Like, literally, as you can see, like, I'm in, like, negative 20-degree weather, the Hebrew Mountains, and, like, I'm just fully cold resistant. Like, as you can see, like, the little temperature bar right there, it reduces your cold by so much that you could literally just go anywhere in any sort of cold situation, any cold weather, and just literally do anything you want. So it's not necessarily OP, because like if you like even just one part of the armor set just insane by itself, but like it's not necessarily OP, but like how could you not put this in amazing? Like this armor set comes so helpful through your entirety of playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now next up is the climbing gear, and I'm gonna have to put this in OP. Like, now, as you can see on screen, I'm about to climb this mountain, and it just makes such a big impact than climbing with just some normal set of armor on. It will also save you a lot of your stamina meals. Like, look how much faster I'm going. And then if you compare that to something else, like a different armor set that you're wearing, it just makes such a big impact. And you literally don't need to worry about stamina unless you're jumping like I just did there. Like, it just becomes so crazy impactful. And now next up, we have the Gerudo set. And now I'm also going to have to put this in overpowered. Like, first, it gives you a heat resistance buff. So you don't need to have like a cold resistance like food or something, or have like a weapon on your back. And also the main part why it's in overpowered is because you literally can unlock another town. And it's a good town. Like, look at all those shops in there. It's like, it's just so good. So if you didn't have this, you wouldn't be able to access Gerudo Town, which is like so important in the game progression. And I'm pretty sure everyone has it by now. Okay, guys, next up on the list, we have the stealth suit, and I'm also going to have to put this in overpowered. Like, I don't really have to say too much about this. Like, everybody uses it. Even though it only gives one buff, that buff is so strong, and it's just stealth, obviously, because it's the stealth suit. But the stealth on this is so powerful. You could literally sneak up on anything in the game and just practically never get caught. Even though some others have a good stealth bonus, this one's probably the strongest. It might not be by a ton, but it is very impactful. Okay, guys, now next up we have the Ancient Set. And now the Ancient Set, I'm going to have to put in OP again just because of its Guardian resistant buff. So it takes less damage against Guardians, but also gives you when you're using like an ancient weapon, it does give you an attack buff, which is so nice because if you have like the full Ancient Set on and then you use like an ancient bow with an ancient arrow, the damage can get kind of crazy. Okay, guys, next up we have the Barbarian Set, and now I'm going to have to put this in amazing. Now, it gives you two things. One, just a classic attack buff, so it just raises your attack with any weapon, but then it also gives you a charge attack stamina up, which is really nice, kind of like the Royal Guards outfit. And yeah, so this is just a really good ability to have. So, like, if you just, like, stun a Lionel, for example, you could just charge it up for as long as you want until it gets unstunned, and then you could deal some pretty crazy damage. Okay, guys, next up we have the rubber armor, and I'm going to be putting it in amazing. Now, with that said, it is the only full armor set that gives you electric resistance, so that's why it's just going to go in amazing. It only has that one ability, but yeah, it just has an overall, it's just decent rating, and it gives you that electric so like you could just like be walking around in Faron when it's like thunder and lightning pretty much all day long. Then you could just walk around with any metal weapon you want and just be fine. Okay, guys, next up is the Flamebreaker set, and I'm gonna have to put this one in amazing. Like, pretty much every single person who goes into Gan City uses it, because, like, you don't really want to add, to make, like, a flame resistance every single time you go there. And overall, this set of armor is just super helpful throughout the entire game, and that's why it's just going to be going in amazing. You just get that flame resistance, and yeah, and also you just to go into Gan City, you do only need just one piece of the armor, so that is also a really nice addition to it. You only need, say, like, if you want to go into Gan City, you might only just need one piece of armor. But if we're talking about the whole armor set, it does give you full flame resistance, and that's why it's going to be going in the amazing spot. Okay, guys, next up we have the Zora armor, and I'm going to have to put this one in the nice category. Now, first off, it gives you a swim speed up, which is always nice to have while you're playing the game. And also, if you have the Zora chest plate, which is part of the set, you have the ability to swim up waterfalls, which is also pretty nice. And also gives a slight swim dash stamina speed up. So if you dash, it conserves some stamina for you, which is really good to have. And then as you can see on screen, like, I'm just going to swim up the waterfall. It does not take up any stamina, which I do like about it. But yeah, just with all this said and all this utility it gives, I'm going to be putting this one in the nice category. Okay, guys, next up is the Royal Guards set, and I'm going to be putting this one in the nice category. Even though it only has one buff, is the charge attack stamina up, it's pretty cool. Like, as you can see on screen, like, I'm just going to be charging mine up against this Guardian, and we are going to one-shot him. So, as you can see how slow it's going, you could just get so much extra attack in. Say on a Lionel, if you just want to charge up for a while he's stunned, you feel free to do that. Overall, just really fun to have, just to play around with, and that's why this Royal Guard set is going to be going in the amazing spot. Okay, guys, next up we have the Desert Voe set, and I'm going to be putting this one in the average category. Now, the Desert Voe set only gives one buff, and that is heat resistance. But other than that, you can't really do anything else with it. And also, you could just instead wear the Gerudo set, because that also does give heat resistance. But you could also get into Gerudo Town. See, like, I'm trying to get into Gerudo Town right now. Obviously, it doesn't work. But yeah, pretty straightforward set. Just heat resistance. But that's really it. And that's why it's going to be going into the average spot. Alright, guys, next up we have the Phantom Gan armor, and I'm going to put this one in the nice category. First up, the Phantom Gan armor has a bone attack up, so say you're using like a little Zalfo arm, you're going to get extra attack. Also to stall disguise, so it's like you're disguising with the stall mobs, like the stall horse and all that stuff. And finally, it does give a pretty nice stealth bonus. And so, with all this utility and with all that said, this set will be going in the nice category. Alright, guys, next up is the Phantom Gan armor, and I'm going to put this one in the average category. Probably one of the most straight up forward sets in the entire game. Literally, one buff, and that just one buff, it just attack up. It just gives you it just gives you some good extra damage, but literally other than that, that is it. It doesn't give you any sort of disguise or anything, so it's pretty average, so that's why it's going to be going in the average category. Next up is the Hero of the Wild set, and this one's going to be going in occasionally useful. Now, literally all it does, it just gives you a Master Sword beam up, which is not even that helpful because no one really uses the Master Sword beam, and even if you did, it won't make that much of an impact other than the work you put in to get it. So that's why it's going to be going in occasionally useful. You don't really use it unless you want to go like kind of like that classic Link vibe in botw. But anyways, that will be deserving the occasionally useful spot. Alright, guys, next up is the Champion set, and I'm going to be putting this one in occasionally useful. All it does, it's not even really that helpful, but it does show the opponent's health gauge. I think it's a pretty cool feature, but other than that, like, why would you really use this other than, like, if you want to go, like, botw, because this is, like, the classic botw shirt. But literally, I don't see why anyone would want to wear this other than, when that gives you, like, more attack up, other than just exposing the health gauge. It doesn't really make that much difference in battle, so that's why it's going to be getting the occasionally useful spot. Okay guys, up next is the Hylian Set, and I'm going to have to put this one also in occasionally useful. The reason is for that is all it does is give a pretty solid defense buff, you could say, but other than that, it doesn't give any sort of other buff, and like, I don't see, this is just pretty unnecessary to have. You should probably just have it for your inventory, but like, I don't know why you would use this, because there are a bunch of other sets that are much more helpful than this that also have better defense than it. So that's why it's going to be getting the occasionally useful spot. Alright guys, and the final armor set that we're going to be talking about today is the Tingle Set, and I'm going to have to put this one also in occasionally useful. And the reason for that is because it only gives one buff and one buff only, and that is night speed up. Probably one of those useless buffs in the entire game, because you can literally just sleep the night or just do what everyone else does and just go normal speed during the night. So that's why it's going to be getting the occasionally useful spot. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. As you can see, my final list is on screen right now, and I'm curious to see yours in the comment section below. Also, if you are new here to the channel, might as well subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss when we upload. And if you did like this video, make sure to drop a like down below. But until next time, peace!